Every step is moving me up. Each step is moving me up. Moving me up. One tiny move. It's all I need to jump over. Every step is moving me up. Every step is moving me up. This is how we walk on the moon. This is how we walk on the moon. This is how we walk on the moon.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dope People podcast. I've been vibing to this song this morning. It's called This Is How We Walk on the Moon by Arthur Russell. I really like it. I was listening to it while I was painting in the garage this morning, and it was first, the choice to paint this morning was because I wanted to fill my own cup this morning before doing anything else. There's some things I have in my mind that I could be doing to be productive, but I just wanted to do something for me first. And I definitely notice a little pattern that if I'm not nourishing myself on a soul level through, well, it seems like artistic ventures are kind of doing that. I'm gonna reach out for other things that in the long run are not gonna make me feel as good. So that's definitely something to take note of in regards to the science experiment on my life is. I wanted to share some ideas with you this morning. I'm a little bit warm, which is extremely rare. So I'm just gonna take this sweater off. Oh my God, this t-shirt is like, it's funny because if you know, you know. It says black coffee. Shout out to my friends in Toronto. Okay, so this morning when I woke up, I had all the ideas relating to the law of exchange. So there's like 7 universal laws, which I mean, I don't think I need to state them all right now, but the law of exchange is one of them. And well, the other day I was watching a video about it, and it was from this girl named Blue of Earth, and she has a podcast called Deja Blue. And in it, she was talking about the law of exchange. And the main getaways that I took from it was that in order to receive, we must give. And it also reminded me of Gary Vee. So if there's any fans of Gary Vee out there, Gary Vaynerchuk, personally, I love the guy. And I remember him saying that one time about just keep giving without asking for anything in return. And maybe like he had like a stat that he would use, like give like 9 times, and then the 10th time maybe you can ask for a little something back. So it's kind of something to remember. But this isn't about strategies or anything like that. The main getaway about the giving was that you want to give from an intention of you're giving from the heart. You're not giving to receive anything in return. And I think we kind of know that intuitively. As kids, we share things out of kindness, and we have that goodness within us. We just want to give. So many ideas came to my mind in regards to the law of exchange. So as I was waking up this morning around like 5:30, I wrote some things. It's a bit of a jumble of ideas, and let's just see if we can make sense of it together. I'm gonna share, and hoping that it has some value for you. But yeah, let's just dive into it. So, okay, I wrote Scott Nolan here. Scott Nolan is an artist, a Canadian musician that I co-hosted. Well, I was co-hosting on a podcast called The Winner's Circle yesterday. And we were in a conversation with Scott Nolan. And what really struck me about that conversation with Scott is that he was so giving with his energy. He was fully present with us, and he was fully authentic, and he was just telling us stories about his life. And first, when I went into the podcast, I was feeling extremely introspective yesterday, very like contracted, like think of breath, like inhale, exhale. It's just like contraction, expansion. I was feeling very contracted yesterday, but like kind of leaning into it. So I was like, it was interesting. It was a very weird day yesterday. I was like, I just wanted to be silent. And I was so in tune with my breath and breathing very slowly through the nose. For anybody who hasn't heard this before, you should always breathe through your nose as much as possible. I know, like, sometimes it's difficult, but anyway, just a little side note. And I ended the podcast feeling like I had received an amazing gift. I was just receiving the gift of listening to him and his experience. And I feel like that is what we can offer each other, the gift of perspective. And we do that by sharing ideas and doing it from a place of love with our heart, with not asking anything in return, and speaking genuinely and authentically. So Scott Nolan reminded me of that, the law of exchange, and how he was so giving. And it was a beautiful gift to receive, just to listen to him. Then, okay, I wrote filling our own cup. So if we want to be giving to anybody, we have to fill our own cup first, which is why I was painting this morning. Because I woke up and I had breakfast, and that was the part of like, okay, I'm taking care of my body, and then I want to nourish my soul. So I did that, and then I felt like I wanted to do something else. So that's why I'm here now. And another thing that really fills me on a soul level is spending time in nature. That's like a non-negotiable, or just like it's just so obvious to me that that really makes me feel better. It's obvious to me, but I still I forget. I seriously forget sometimes. I can spend let's say like 2 days inside the house, maybe 3, and start feeling really off, and then I go outside and take a breath of fresh air, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's what I needed. I just needed to be in nature, because nature is not just our home, it's what we are. It's like reconnecting with ourselves, because literally our bodies are made up of the elements, and we come from Mother Earth. Our bodies are of her. So it's just a return to self, and it really helps me connect with myself. So that's another thing that nourishes me on a soul level. So before giving, I want to make sure that I fill my own cup. Let's see what else I wrote on that paper that we're trying to make sense of. Okay, I wrote we are creators. Let's get back to that later. It's a little unclear to me right now what I was thinking earlier. I mean, I know that we're creators, we consciously create our reality, but let's just put that on a little shelf for now, and we'll get back to it in a moment. Wow, okay, my ideas, we are very broad. I wrote ceasing to exist. Ceasing to exist. I woke up this morning with an image in my mind. It was the image of, okay, just like hold on with your judgment here. It's a little weird, but it was a fairy on laying on a breath, like a inhale. And if you can like see the breath, like let's say like waves, like kind of like Van Gogh style. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. And she was just like on it. And what was really interesting is I tried to draw. I tried to draw what she looked like. So this is what it turned out when I tried to draw a little fairy or a little like character on a would be breath. And I kind of feel like it looks like a hieroglyphic. You know what I'm talking about. So I think that's interesting, but I don't know what it would mean in Egyptian symbols. To me, it was just like a character like laying like this on on breath, because it was the moment of like I said yesterday, I was super in tune with my breath. And what I realized, I'm gonna slow down now because I'm like kind of excited. Is that there's so much value in the pause between the breath, the little moment of stillness. It's like picture a character jumping up, and that moment where you don't feel gravity for just an instant before falling back down on earth, that moment right there is a moment of stillness. And I think I've heard before something about in Indian culture, or not necessarily the culture, but the ancient scriptures, that there was something about the amount of breaths that we are given in this lifetime. So this is a reminder of the value of slowing down our breath and the value found in the space between those breaths, those moments of stillness. And Ram Dass, yesterday I started watching a documentary called Fierce Grace, but he also has a movie that is on Netflix or YouTube. It's called Becoming Nobody. And it's all about how he went from being, what was his name? Albert something? To becoming Ram Dass. So it's not necessarily that this video isn't about destroying our ego. It's not what it's about. The ego is there. It's helping us navigate this experience. Me identifying as Bianca is anchoring me in whatever, this one focal point of all the things I've experienced and how I intend to create myself. And it's anchoring me in a sense of identity, that's all. But Ram Dass, he talks about becoming nobody, and when we forget about everything that we think we are, we can definitely connect with something much greater than that. And it's the thing that connects us all. And it's the fabric of reality. And it's so grand, and it's related with the breath as well. So I might sound cryptic right now. I don't mean to. It's just they are very abstract concepts because we don't necessarily see them with our eyes. But I have a feeling that you guys already know what I'm talking about, or that you get it. So, okay, what I wrote under ceasing to exist with Ram Dass is that Scott Nolan said something yesterday that really struck me. Oftentimes, with our ego and our sense of identity, we want validation. We want external validation. We want to be recognized, or we want to be seen, heard, acknowledged. All these things, and then there's another side of that spectrum. All things on a spectrum, right? So if you have one, you have the polar opposite, and they always say stay humble. And if you build your sense of identity on status and titles and all these things that can be taken away from you at any time, it makes you very vulnerable. And what I realized with what Scott Nolan said yesterday is that there's the other end there that is as egoic, perhaps, as the quest for validation. I'm going to tell the story that he said. And if you want to hear it from him, just go check out the other podcast on the Welcome to the Winner Circle podcast with Scott Nolan. So the story he said is that he one day got a random call from this famous artist, I don't recall the name, who just randomly delivered a message to him. He calls him at his home. Scott doesn't even really know who that guy is. And the guy tells him, Scott, people need people to look up to feel inspired by. And one parenthesis here is that Scott is a very humble person. He is very authentic. He doesn't make himself look like anybody else. He is very open about his story and all the hardship he has gone through and where he comes from. So the guy at the end of the phone tells him, people need other people to look up to and feel inspired by. So when somebody tells you that they look up to you, don't reject that. Don't say, I don't think the guy said that. He just said, tell them, thank you. I will do my best not to disappoint. Just that. Thank you. I will do my best not to disappoint. And that struck me. It struck me because it helped me see a little bit more that even the refusal to receive praise comes from a place of ego because we think that we're not worthy of it. And that's also being stuck in ego. The belief that we are more worthy of another, or less worthy, or not worthy, or any sort of worth attached to our ego is an expression of ego. And that was a moment for me. That was a moment. Yeah. I'm just going to throw that out there. And it helped me reflect on how we often have trouble receiving kindness, love, compliments. Not everybody, but for the people who do, it also stems from ego. So if we want to be really rooted in the heart, we kind of have to step aside from that and realize that in the bigger perspective, what is of utmost service to people is just let them have whatever perception they want to have of you. Like, let them think whatever they want to think. You don't have to correct people. You don't have to tell them, oh, actually, it's not really like that. Or, oh, I didn't realize, or like, we just don't have to correct people. We can let them believe whatever they want. Beliefs are just constructions of our mind. They're not real. They're just, if they're constructed, they can be constructed. That should be clear. So I just wanted to share that moment. And another thing about that ceasing to exist and the letting go of the ego and not attaching ourselves to the projections that people place upon us, upon themselves, or whatever, is the entering of the flow. And it's what that song was reminding me of this morning, Walking on the Moon. Is that what it's called? I'm just gonna go. This is how we walk on the moon is the title of the song. And it's, to me, it was when I listened to the song, and if you listen to the lyrics, the guy talks about every step is moving the earth. That's what he says. Every step is moving the earth. It's that connection from the micro and the macro. We often think that we're so small and we think that the world is something outside of us, so detached. And some people think that it's me against the world. Some people think that they need to save the world, and all these ideas we make up. But I love how that song speaks of our connection to the grandness of this planet, and how us on a micro level, with every choice we make and every move we make, we are also reverberating. We are, me with my voice right now is making an echo that is going to just resound infinitely. And it's just, it blows my mind. It blows my mind. And we think we're so small, and we are, but also everything is so significant and insignificant. I don't know how you guys make sense of this. Like, do you guys ever reflect on this, on how your choices impact on a level that we can't even understand because we don't see the grand picture? But that there is a flow, and that we can enter it if we get in tune with our heart and the feeling, because there's the heart. Okay, let's try and speak a little bit on coherence here. I know I'm throwing in a lot of words and a lot of names, but if you listen to Joe Dispenza talks a lot about the power of belief, and he talks about coherence. And the first time I heard him talk about coherence, I did not understand what he meant. And it took me a while to understand what he meant by coherence. But it's when your heartbeat is at a rate that feels so natural and is in tune with a greater flow. And for that to happen, the mind needs to be quiet, and we need to be centered in ourselves. We can slow down our breath. And when we are in coherence, there's no internal dilemma within us. And when I'm talking about internal dilemma, it could be as small as a desire for something. Because if there's a desire for something, there's a pull. So I'm not in my center. I'm talking about stillness. I'm talking about being right here, right now, coherent with myself, because there's nowhere I need to be. There's nothing pulling me back. I'm just here, perfectly anchored here. I invite you all to take a breath with me right now. Let's just anchor ourselves for a moment. I just saw a cat outside. I don't know whose cat that is, but I'm very tempted to go. But if I go and run, it's probably going to run away. So I'm just going to let it be and joyfully observe it from here. Ah, so I guess that's what I wanted to share this morning. All this jumble of ideas around the law of exchange and how we can be giving, but give from a place of love. The importance of filling our own cup before doing so. And the importance of slowing down and tuning in with our breath, giving ourselves these moments of stillness and remembering that we're all so connected, that everything we do has an impact, and that all we can do is just do our best to act from a place of love. Everybody is doing their best from the level of consciousness that they're at. Let's always remember that. I know there's some people out there that don't have good intentions, but at the core, at the very core, we're all doing our best. Yeah. I hope you guys are well. I'm going to wish you a beautiful day. If you have decided to give your attention to this recording today, that is an amazing gift that I receive with an open heart. I hope that it provided something for you. I really do. I send you all my blessings, my love, and yeah, I just wish you an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in.